Oh, blessings to all the virtuous people. Today, I'd like to share something with you from the history of building spiritual merit. But let me take you back just to the time when I started building merit in my hometown. The sense of love for my hometown refers to the period when I pioneered in Sukhothai, because before we could the merit-making allies to participate in the Kathan robe offering ceremony. As for the Dutanga site at Kong Krai Lat, this year marks the 7th year of the Kathan ceremony. Meanwhile, the Dutanga site at Thung Salayam is in its 2nd year. These are the places where we have come to make merit and build spiritual strength, joining together with all of us. Let me go back and explain why I decided to come and build spiritual merit in my own hometown. Of course, wherever we are born, we want to give something back to our birthplace. It started back then, when I had been ordained as a monk for 2 years and had the opportunity to return home. At that time, I heard that there was a Dutanga retreat in Lana and another one in Phitsanulok. Back then, there were mainly these 2 places. So, I thought from my own perspective, why not have a Dutanga retreat in Sukhothai, which is my hometown? I had that intention from back then. During my 1st and 2nd years as a monk, I was still focused on building merit and spiritual strength. At that time, I didn't have any specific responsibilities yet. I just went along. I was studying, as a student monk at Dhammachai Institute, right? My main responsibility was my studies. After I finished my studies, the monastic community, including the Venerable Longpo and my teacher, assigned me to go to Japan. I had the opportunity to study Japanese and to continue building spiritual merit there in Japan as well. So I spent 6 years there. In Osaka, it was 2 years back then. When we first arrived, we didn't use the name Dhammakaya yet, since we hadn't officially established anything. At that time, it was still called the Osaka Dhamma Center. I went to study in Osaka at MCN. Then I also spent about 2 years in Hong Kong and Kona and completed my studies there as well. As soon as I learned the language, I had the opportunity to help establish a temple. We went to open a temple at Wat Favana. At first, we had to call it Wat Favana too, right? I want to take this chance to send my regards to the community, to the merit leaders. I always keep all of you in my heart, even though we haven't had the chance to meet in person yet, and to the students in Osaka as well. There were quite a few of you, and I also had the chance to build merit at Wat Favana Toji. First, we rented a house, right? We rented a house in the Nikko area and stayed there for a year, then moved to Urumia for another year before we finally got a permanent place. That became what is now Wat Phra Dhammakaya Tashimi. And now, Phra Ajahn Sunit and Phra Ajahn Thana have expanded it even further. At Wat Pa Pa Dhammakaya International Monastery, which is another new location. And then, once things started to settle down in Tachujai, and there was someone younger to take over the duties, Phra Ajahn went to establish another place at Wat Phra Dhammakaya Ibaraki. That is, it became Wat Favana Ibaraki as well. Back then, we were still renting a house in a flower farm, before it expanded into what is now Wat Phra Dhammakaya Ibaraki. And after that, I completely left Sukhothai and went to live in Japan. Yeah, and then I just disappeared for a while. After coming back from Japan, I had the chance to go on a long meditation retreat. As I gradually got older, the timing was right. Around the year 2020 or 2021, I had the opportunity to come to Sukhothai. Actually, at first, I didn't really plan to come here. I just came to visit a good friend. Back then, before I went to Japan, the venerable monk had come to Sukhothai to share merit and invite people to ordain as monks and novices. At that time, he was still inviting people, yeah. Young people from Sukhothai came to ordain as the 3K novices, and they were able to invite up to 500 monks. And then I met good friends, Ajarn Sufa, Ajarn Ratcharan, Tanporn, and layperson Kizorn. Uncle Wyrat and others like that back in those days. Now everyone has become so accomplished. Back then, Tanporn was the youngest, but now she's the eldest. The venerable monk also visited the spiritual friends. At that time, it was the most reverend Luang Por. Luang Por Chalad, at Wat Ban Palm. I stayed with him when I was in elementary school, grade 5 or 6, as a temple boy. I heard the news that he had passed away, that he had died, so I went to attend the funeral. And I also stopped by to visit the spiritual friends. That's when I met Auntie Boonlai. Auntie Boonlai, Teacher Manet, right? I went to talk to them, but before I could even say anything, before we could really talk, Auntie Boonlai said to me, "Before I die, will I ever get to see my temple?" Wow. So, Auntie Boonlai had already prepared the place where we built the present-day Thadankasathan Konkrelas. Those 12 rai of land, she had already dedicated to Fradet Farfutha and Luang Por Damajeo many years ago, but the transfer hadn't happened yet. The land hadn't been officially transferred, and our group hadn't gone down there to build anything or establish the Thudong Center yet. Auntie was still collecting rent. Today, we're just taking it easy, going along as we please. Consider it a chance to look back at the history of our community's merit-making from another perspective. Honey, shit. The annual rent for the rice field was about 80,000 baht, something like that. She would bring it to offer to Luang Por. While the land hadn't yet been used to build the temple, she would offer the rent money to Luang Por, and she did this for over 10 years. Yes, but when Pa Boonlai said those words, it became an inspiration for Fra Ajahn. Fra Ajahn then asked himself when the devoted lay people had unwavering faith, to generously offer the land and waited patiently, patiently waiting for our spiritual community to come and diligently do something truly meaningful with this valuable piece of land, to make it a sacred place that would profoundly support the creation of immense merit and significant spiritual development for our entire group. Yes. So I thought, well, if I put myself in the shoes of the great teachers, if I were the revered masters, Luang Pu, Luang Por, or Kunyai, what would they do? I asked myself, consulting the guidance of my teachers, and the answer was, just go for it. So I said, let's get started then. We began by inviting people to make merit, starting with the transfer fee, the money for the land transfer. It was around 100,000 baht, so we prepared about that much, roughly 100,000. But in reality, it was more like 70 or 80,000, something like that. Then we spread the news about this merit-making opportunity to everyone. At that time, everyone was really alert and joyful, excited to take part and be a part of helping to transfer the land from Aunt Bulai. Ajarnman, the wizard, The money was transferred to the foundation's account, Nadawan, right? So once we got the 100,000 baht, we informed the zone president to come and process the land transfer. That's when we started, We began by digging up the first clump of earth together. I think it was around the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. Some of the group also came for a forest retreat. Yeah, it was the New Year's forest retreat. We started digging and began building the pavilion, the glass pavilion, the Jatamaharakika pavilion. We kind of modeled it after the first meditation building that Wat Phra Dhammakaya built, which was also called the Jatamaharakika building. So we decided to do a C&D copy and development, copy and development. Yeah, we used the same name, Jatamaharakika, and then we proceeded